That breaking news is in Los Angeles, where people continue to protest for a third straight day. This is in response to a series of ICE raids in the city, and now also in opposition to the National Guard being called up to stop the protests. This video shows agents firing pellets at a crowd trying to push them back. The protests have been peaceful so far, but now, as you can see, protesters are being met with the National Guard as well as local law enforcement. Thank you for joining us here for our News at 5. I'm Edie Lambert. President Donald Trump has ordered 2,000 National Guard troops to be deployed to Los Angeles. This is unusual. It appears to be the first time in decades that a state's National Guard has been activated without a request from its governor. We do know about 300 National Guard troops were deployed today to 3 separate locations in the Los Angeles area. This video shows troops in tactical gear and holding long guns in front of armored vehicles at the Metropolitan Detention Center in downtown LA. And now to this video, which shows National Guard troops out on the streets of Los Angeles. Governor Newsom is fighting this massive show of force. His legal affairs secretary formally requested the Trump administration to rescind what they call the unlawful deployment of troops in LA County and return California National Guard members to the governor's command. In a letter to Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, he said in part, quote, "There is currently no need for the National Guard to be deployed in Los Angeles, and to do so in this unlawful manner and for such a lengthy period is a serious breach of state sovereignty that seems intentionally designed to inflame the situation, while simultaneously depriving the state from deploying these personnel and resources where they are truly required." There he is referencing their work in the aftermath of the LA fires. And take a look at these live pictures. Police in riot gear have pushed protesters off of Highway 101 in downtown Los Angeles. At one point there, those protesters had stopped traffic in both directions. We saw officers deploy tear gas as they moved to clear the highway. We've also seen them arresting some people. The CHP shut down again all lanes, bringing traffic to a complete standstill. Large crowds also gathered along the overpasses and along the edges of the freeway. President Trump is suggesting he is not prepared to invoke the Insurrection Act, but he strongly is supporting law and order. Are you prepared to invoke the Insurrection Act?
Depends on whether or not there's an insurrection. No, but you have violent people, and we're not going to let them get away with it.
Congressman Kevin Kiley posted on X, writing in part, quote, "California's reckless political leadership has done everything possible to enable the chaos in LA," end quote. He claims the state is a sector for illegal border crossings, and he blames the adoption of sanctuary policies, what he calls a watered-down penal code, early release policies, and much more. He also says California's leadership is egging on the protesters. As Jackie DeFusco reports, tensions are high after that series of raids in LA.
Flashbangs and tear gas from federal agents on Saturday in the heavily Latino city of Paramount as protesters hurled rocks and cement at Border Patrol vehicles. Video shows a car burning in the street. The Trump administration is reporting a surge in assaults against ICE agents and accusing Democratic leaders of inaction. The White House now sending in 2,000 National Guardsmen to, quote, address the lawlessness that has been allowed to fester. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth warned, quote, if violence continues, active duty Marines at Camp Pendleton will also be mobilized. California Governor Gavin Newsom said the National Guard is not needed and accused the White House of seeking a spectacle, adding, quote, that move is purposely inflammatory and will only escalate tensions. At a press conference Saturday, congressional Democrats had this message for the Trump administration.
You cannot just come into the community and terrorize citizens the way you did. You cannot just continue to come in and profile people, not knowing if you are arresting American citizens.
That was Jackie DeFusco reporting. Today, Democratic Congresswoman Maxine Waters tried to visit a prisoner at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Los Angeles.
All right, shalom. First and foremost, going to give all praises and glories due. Kwahala, Yahweh, Bashim Yahshua, Bashim Kwakadash. Double honors and much love and respect to the elders and apostles, bishops of Great Millstone. Honors and salutations to you, Akim, all around the world that's doing this work in sincerity and in truth. And shalom to the few sisters listening in silence to the spirit and powerful Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahshua. So there you have it, uproars of the people protesting. All right, because like we've been said, you know, the beginning of this year that um, you tribes, you know, in particular you tribes that the most that this man DJ Trump, aka Nero, was gonna start putting hell on you, and he's doing exactly that. All right, he's putting hell on you tribes, especially you Latin tribes. All right, so mainly all the tribes are gonna be going through this, you know, because right now we're we're pretty much in the beginning stages of Jacob's trouble, so to say. So here it is, you tribes, you don't listen to us, what we tell you, but the thing is, if words can't teach you, then adversity will. And definitely adversity is starting to teach you tribes now that the so called white man is not your friend, all right? He's your enemy, okay? And he's and he's treating you exactly the way he's treating you. And these are just the times that we're living in. All right. And these times are just going to escalate. They're going to get a whole lot worse and worse, like we've been saying. Okay. Every year that passes, things just get worse and worse. Okay. Every year. The Most High always turns up the heat up. The Most High always turns the heat up a notch, every year that passes, you know. And it's going to get to a point where, the Most High is just going to eventually just turn the heat up all the way, you know. So let me get 2nd Ezra chapter 9, verse 1. He answered me then and said, Measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest parts of the signs past which I have told thee before, then thou shalt understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and upwars of the people, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High has spoke of these things from from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. For like as all that is made in the world has a beginning and the end is made manifest. All right, so it's no doubt that we are definitely living in the end times. It's obvious. It's obvious that we're living in the end times, that there's not much time left in the society. Well, yeah, in the society, in Esau's kingdom. All right, when you got the small hatter talking about, the empire is going down, you better pay attention. And this is his kingdom. All right. Even a small hatter in his kingdom is saying that his own kingdom is going down. So you better pay attention. It's not just us. We've been saying it, from the head apostles, on down. We've been saying that this place is going to go down. This place is finished. When it seemed like, this place wasn't ever going to go down. Okay. We said it in times where it seemed like this place was never going to go down. But now, now you could definitely see it now. Now you could definitely see these things happening. This place going down, circling the drain, so to say. Okay. All right. So now we're living in the end. And the end is made manifest. So let me start off with the book of 2nd Ezra. I'm gonna start at 1 and I'm gonna jump down to verse 15. One second. So That's like it. This is Second Ezra chapter 15, verse 1. And it reads, Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. Fear not the machinations against thee, let not the incredulity of them trouble thee, that speak against thee, for all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. Behold, saith the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, and death and destruction. Okay. For wickedness has exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hopeful works are fulfilled. All right. So the Most High is bringing these plagues. All right. There's been a plague of mosquitoes that took place in Italy in a town somewhere in one of these towns in Italy. Right, a whole heap of mosquitoes. Okay. So the Most High is definitely bringing these plagues, and ultimately these plagues are going to intensify. All right. So I'm jumping down to verse 15. Verse 16, Salakia. For there shall be sedition amongst men, and evading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and their course of their actions shall stand in their power. Okay. So that's what you're seeing over there in over there in Los Angeles. All right, sedition amongst men, evading one another. Isn't it an invasion over there where these ICE agents are evading people's houses and taking them out of their houses, arresting them, and shipping them and sending them back, to their countries? All right, you damn straight, damn Skippy. All right, and it's happening all across America. All right, it's not just gonna stop in LA. This is gonna be all across the board, so to say. All right, and we're definitely living in those times. All right, in a time of Jacob's trouble, like we've been telling you, tribes. All right, this ain't a time of peace or comfort no more. That you could forget about that. You can forget about your peace and comfort, okay? Because that's going out the window. All right, bye bye. See you later. Okay. So it's gonna be nothing but discomfort from here on. Okay, and the discomfort is just gonna get worse and worse to the point where there's not gonna be no food. There's not gonna be no shelter. All right, you won't be able to drive your car. All right, all the luxuries that you enjoy right now, all of that's gonna be taken from you. All right, your kids. All right, they're gonna separate you from your kids, which that's what they're already doing with the people over there. With they're already separating people from their kids, their families, their mothers, their fathers, their cousins, their nephews, and all of that. All right. This is what's going on. This is what's happening. All right. So get ready for discomfort. Get ready to feel more discomfort. Get ready for the discomfort to increase 100-fold. Okay. All right. It ain't gonna be comfortable here in America anymore. All right. That America pie is gone. It's gonna be nothing but discomfort. All right. Unpleasure. All right. Verse 17, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. For because of their pride, the city shall be. For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. And this is what we're coming into. All right. The cities are about to be troubled. All right. Because here it is, they're shooting pellet bullets at the protesters, but eventually, it's going to turn into real rounds. Okay. Eventually, it's going to turn into live bullets that they're going to be getting shot with. Eventually, these pellet guns, or these flash grenades or whatever, it's going to turn into live rounds. Okay. You know, Jake is going to be getting shot with live rounds out there. All right. All right. They're going to have German shepherds. Okay. Dogs. They're going to sick dogs on people. Dogs are going to be biting the hell out of people, just like they did back in the 60s, you know, with the riots with Jake. All right. And this was like what's going back 60 years ago. All right. So that's not far fetched. All right. Now you northern tribes are not going through it. All right. All right. They're going to come with them German shepherds. All right. All right. They're going to be sicking German shepherds on you. All right. So a man shall not have no pity upon on his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, and spoil the goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. Okay, that's what's coming. Great tribulation. Hell, you know, death and destruction. That's what's coming. All right. And not to mention that this world, you know, is being brewed up. You know, no peace over there in the Middle East. All right. So the whole world is pretty much in a uproar right now. Unrest. Okay. All right.